Have you told your friends that you see ghosts?
Oh, absolutely not.
Gina Rodriguez returns in Not Dead Yet.
I'm back, baby!
Who is up?
Oh, she's the obituary writer.
And Brad Garrett joins the brilliant ensemble cast.
Titan, Maverick, Titan of all Mavericks. These are all words used to describe me.
Not Dead Yet. Season premiere. Tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. And stream on Hulu.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. This is Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Central Texas Life with Ann Harder, and I am so happy to have this gentleman with me. His name is Michael Clinton Osborne.
Howdy.
I have known him as Ozzy since we were in high school together.
I'll answer to that.
Yeah. So if I call you Ozzy, you'll know it's okay. It's out of love and a long time devotion to our friendship. But I wanted to talk to you because here we are at the same age, a certain age, and you're kind of recrafting your career when a lot of us are retired, and it's just so exciting, and I love to talk to people who just see an opportunity and go for it. And that's kind of been a hallmark of your work. First of all, I want to let you know he helped pioneer this highly acclaimed University High School culinary arts program.
Yeah, that's been
and I want to talk a lot about that.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Yeah, well, it really does. You deserve all the praise you can get. I know you're gonna say your students are awesome, and they are indeed. But yeah, you've been able to do a lot with that program, but that's come to an end.
Yes, I retired from Waco Independent School District right before the Christmas holiday hit.
Okay.
So I'm a retiree.
You're a retiree, but not for long.
But not for long. I got about another week
before
I start my next foray into the great unknown.
Yeah, and it is on the high seas.
Yeah. Ever since I was a little kid, at first I thought I wanted to run away and join the circus. Maybe on the high trapeze. But a little later on in my pre-adolescence, I thought about being a pirate.
A pirate?
Yeah, and so now I'm going to get my chance to do that. So, next time we see each other, I might be sporting an eye patch and a hook. And maybe
have a parrot on your shoulder.
Yeah, a little parrot, maybe a peg leg, who knows.
But you will be on a cruise ship, though.
Yeah. I had this crazy deal just kind of fall on my lap.
Yeah.
And when I first heard about it, I was, I had this nagging thought for about half a minute. Well, I really did want to teach for a couple of more years.
Yeah.
And then
so
when it kind of sunk in.
There's not a requirement for when you have to retire from Waco ISD?
No.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's
but this thing came along.
Because we are past 65.
Yeah, we are. Significantly past.
Well, speak for yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, this thing kind of just fell in my lap. So you want me to tell you about it, or?
Yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it because
okay.
I've been doing some podcasts with travel experts and experts helping you pack for a cruise. I mean, we've kind of had a little theme going here.
Well, let me get that number because I got to start packing myself.
Listen, Jennifer Snyder will help you pack.
Thank you, Jennifer.
She loves doing that.
Yeah. So anyway, I kind of back up a little bit. I went to school for culinary, but at the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America, up in Hyde Park, New York, the mothership. campus.
That
They've got
is
a number of campuses.
El Primo for
Oh
learning
boy,
how
just
to cook.
such a yeah. Well, probably the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and in that world, in my world, it's kind of like getting a law degree from Harvard. You
Sure.
know, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
if you go through all of that, and I did a 4-year bachelor's degree there, so finished out with a bachelor's in restaurant management. Basically, is what it amounts to. But anyway, while I was there, there was a lady there, my age, who had been a epidemiologist. Always wanted to be a chef.
Really?
And
I bet there are a lot of people
yeah.
you met in
Oh,
culinary
yeah,
arts school.
just-
I've always wanted to do this, so I decided let's
Yeah.
do it.
Well, and she's got a number of other pretty stellar stars in her resume. But at any rate, long story short, she did real well in culinary. And when she finished a little bit ahead of me. When she finished up, Jacques Pepin, the
Yep.
famous French chef, recruited her to implement, really from the ground up, a program on the high seas where it's a cooking school basically for the guests on the ship.
I think that's awesome.
For something to do. You know,
Yeah,
the days
little
when you're at
programs,
sea.
they have entertainment, they have all kinds of
Yeah.
things. So.
Yeah, you can only lose so much money in the casinos or play so much bingo, but so
There's always a lot of food to eat
yeah.
on a cruise
Oh yeah,
ship.
yeah,
but-
yeah. So anyway, Jacques Pepin is sort of the titular
Oh, that's cool.
director of cuisine for a couple of really ritzy cruise lines, Oceania.
Okay. Oh, so he does multiple cruise lines.
Well, it's all under the Norwegian umbrella.
Okay, Norwegian. Well, good.
But he recruited her to implement this whole program, and so the company committed a lot of dollars to putting in these state-of-the-art teaching kitchens on a number of their ships.
That is
So
neat.
yeah, and that was about 13 years ago, and the program's really taken off, and so now they're putting you just have to see it to
Yeah.
really appreciate it. But these teaching kitchens are just immaculate, and they're putting them on all their new ships.
And I presume you're going to have sous chefs. You're going to have all kinds of people helping you.
Yeah, I will, and that's a pretty cool part of it. And
Yeah.
and
And you plan your own curriculum, or is this something Jacques
no,
has done?
the curriculum is just astoundingly well organized.
Good, yeah.
Down to the second almost.
Well, that's great.
And these classes last like 2 hours.
Uh-huh.
But it's really cool. So if we're sailing to the Greek islands, say, we'll be teaching some Greek recipes.
Sure.
And if we're going to Spain, it's Spanish stuff. We might do some tapas, of
Yeah.
some kind or another. If we're heading to Tokyo, it might be some Japanese stuff. And of course, there's lots of fish dishes, and I love cooking seafood. But the other really fun thing about it is at ports of call, we do these chef-led field trips, basically, these shore excursions to culinary destinations.
How fun.
So, for
I cannot
example,
get over this.
Yeah. So, for example, in February, I think I'll be in Belize, and we'll take a group of folks up into the hills to a chocolate plantation and see how they
Oh, my word.
grow the cacao and how it's fermented and how it gets processed and turned into chocolate. So it's stuff like that all over the world. So I'll be teaching the cuisines of the world all over the world.
Yeah. Oh, that is just, that's amazing.
And several of the chefs that are on the faculty are people that I knew when I was at school.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a relatively small community and that you all know, who's
Yeah.
out there making waves, doing great things.
But just such an unusual kind of a gig. And
Yeah, it is.
I can't believe I'm at retirement age and about to take on this new thing. And
Well-
but it was just like, well, how can I say no? I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's just too cool.
Well, let's back up then
All right.
a little bit more. Kind of back up way back because you weren't always into cooking. I remember when you were with HEB, the Cooking Connection.
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
first
yeah.
thought, what is Ozzy doing up there? Really? Do I want to eat anything? Yes.
That's how I got started right there.
But yeah, so what prompted that? Is that something you would help your mother bake cookies? I mean, is the kind of thing you always like kind of doing stuff in the kitchen?
I was just the biggest spoiled brat that you ever saw. Growing up, I never.
No.
I'd kind of pass through the kitchen while
Yeah.
Mom would be in there, slaving away.
Yeah.
And I certainly enjoyed the largesse of my grandmother's kitchens.
Oh, yeah.
But I was too busy doing,
boy
kid,
things.
yeah, doing
right.
kid stuff, and So what really prompted it for me was about 1990, 91 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I got a divorce.
Oh.
And my ex-wife had learned how to cook at the apron strings of her grandmother, in this, on a cotton farm in West Texas, and she knew how to make kind of stuff guys like to eat.
Yeah.
So I was further spoiled by her, and when we split, I didn't have a pot or a pan or a knife or a fork or a plate or any
Or
of
know
that
how
stuff.
to use it other than
Yeah.
to eat off it.
And so I went about 6 months, I guess, eating out,
Oh my.
and that got old. And so I realized one day that, hey, if I wanted to eat like I was used to eating, I better learn how to do it myself.
Learn how to
And,
cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would hit garage sales and estate sales, and I kind of pieced together a little, rudimentary bachelor kitchen, and started getting I started collecting cookbooks, and I started reading cookbooks like some people read those romance novels.
Yeah,
just can't get enough.
You were just devouring them.
Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah.
And I started practicing, and the more I did it, better I got, and better I got, the more I wanted to do it. And so it was after several years of really just kind of training myself that I thought, oh, hey man, maybe I'd like to go pro. So
Yeah.
my first real cooking job was with the Cooking Connection.
Right. And that was
At
when they
HEB.
were kind of just getting
It
started.
was brand new.
Yeah.
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 There were two Cooking Connections, one in Round Rock and then the Wooded Acres HEB
the
here
Wooded
in
Acres
Waco.
HEB. Yeah.
So I got on there, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh,
And,
well, you're so personable, and you know everybody in town.
Well,
and
and-
now a lot
yeah.
of people know who you are because of that work at
Yeah,
HEB.
a lot of good visibility there,
Sure.
and that was a big deal. But
and really
what I was
kind of preparing you in a way for what you're doing
well,
coming
yeah,
up,
yeah.
in that you're going to be kind of teaching
That's-
people. these
that's the way
recipes
that's the way the Cooking Connection started.
Yeah.
It was about teaching people how to make dinner, basically, and so it was constant demoing, and it was initially at the onset of the whole Cooking Connection program with HEB, it was about teaching.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And,
That's how I
yeah.
recall. I've still got recipes that I picked up.
Yeah. I might have written one of those.
Yeah, you very well might have. So you were, I think, as I recall, you were about 50 when you went to the
Yeah.
CIA.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd already been working as a chef for a number of years,
Right.
probably 10 years or so. One of the nice things about all that FaceTime with the local population while I was working at HEB, it enabled me to grow a dinner party catering business.
Yes, you did.
And did that for a long time before I went off to culinary school. But what prompted that was the big recession in 2008, and I had a small advertising agency,
Right.
and I was doing the cooking thing and at HEB and doing the dinner party catering business. I was spread pretty thin, but all of my revenue sources dried up just within the matter of a couple of months.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? And my lady friend Carrie and I had just gotten together. In fact, we were living in a little downtown loft right here at 4th and Mary. The Barron's Lofts is where we live.
Barron's,
And we were in there wringing our hands one night going, what in the world are we going to do? And she's like, well, what do you really want to do?
Yeah.
And I said, well, if I had any sense, I mean, the economy's just going to suck for the foreseeable future. If I had any sense, I'd go back to school. And she said, well, where would you go? And I said, well, always kind of wanted to go to culinary school, get some genuine bona fides. And
Yeah.
I said, CIA is the best culinary school in the world, but there's no way I'll get in there. And she said, well, SC. She starts Googling stuff up, and I start filling stuff out. And next thing you know, I got accepted. And I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. And and then it's like, well.
But I'm sure your experience helped.
Well, oh, yeah,
When you
yeah,
think-
yeah. That helped
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
That helped a lot. And I'll tell you something else that helped a lot was our English teachers from high school.
Amen.
Sharon Mansfield and Mary
Mary
Fidel. Yeah. Who taught me how to write.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that really helped me get through culinary school was writing essays for scholarships. And I got, golly,
Well, that
pretty close
helps
to $60,000 in
because
scholarships.
it's very expensive to go
Yeah, very
to
expensive.
the Culinary
Yeah.
Institute.
But got through it. And
And then you came back home.
And-
you could
yeah.
have gone anywhere, Ozzy, but you
Well,
came back to Texas.
I kind of needed to. My father had a stroke, and I was the only.
Professor of sociology at Baylor
That's
University.
right. That's right. As your dad was.
Yeah.
Well, not sociology, but in the business school.
And economics, yeah.
But anyway, I really needed to be back here. I had been working in New York for a year or so, and it just was evident that I needed to be back here. So that's when I went into teaching.
Well, and lest we forget the TSTC.
Yes,
So that was after that, before Waco High. I mean, University High.
right. So I came back to Texas from New York, and after a brief stint in Los Angeles, and came back to Texas. Got a job teaching culinary arts at the college level at TSTC in their culinary program, which is just a little gem of
It
a
is wonderful,
program. Yeah. So, and then it had been being courted to come teach at the high school level, and after about almost 4 years at TSTC, they coaxed me over to Waco ISD in the program at University High School.
And it was starting then, is that correct? I mean, it was a pretty new campus. So.
Well, yeah, the building, I guess, has been there for maybe 15 years now. So I think when we first went over there, they'd been open 5 or 6
Yeah,
years.
okay.
They had this fantastic facility, but before me and Rhiannon Ruark, my colleague over there,
Right.
signed
I had
on.
both of you on Central Texas Living.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
TV
yeah.
show, and that was so much fun. And you brought some of the tastiest samples to eat.
Hey, I got to tell you, Ann Harder has been a very consistent supporter of all our culinary endeavors, and she's been very, very good to us
Yeah.
over the years, and I'm sure grateful to you.
Well, proud of everything you've done,
For that.
and those kids have just done awesome.
Really
things.
have.
And in fact, I just saw something that was shared about what University High School students, nearly 17,000 meals they prepared for the needy.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Oh, I guess 5 years or so ago, Chef Ruark and I were contacted by the local Salvation Army.
Correct.
And basically what they needed was be able to give their cook a day off.
Yeah.
And they said, would you guys be willing to pick up the slack for us one day a week? And we said, well, sure. And it worked out so nicely because, one of the pitfalls, I guess, about public education is you're always scrambling around for money to be able to do the things you need to do. And so here was the Salvation Army that would supply us with whatever food they had on hand on that particular week. Might be something they needed to move and
time to cook it and get it.
Yeah. And so the way it worked out, they supplied the food, and we supplied the labor and the expertise on how to prepare it. And so each week we would do dinner for like 120 people that Waco's homeless, and try to help them out a little bit that way.
Yeah.
And
Well, Waco ISD has a wonderful video about the program. You're obviously featured in it, and
my
and
last
Chef-
big hurrah.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned the Waco ISD Education Foundation, which has provided some really nice grants.
They've been
which
good
is
to us.
a wonderful endeavor, and I've been involved with the Education Foundation for many years,
Yeah.
and really believe in what they do to help make the experience in the classroom for these students richer, because this providing money for grants that just would not be in the budget for them.
Exactly.
And as a result, we have fundraising things we have for many years called the HEB Celebrity Cook-Off.
Oh man, that has
And for
been
the
a blast.
last few years,
Yeah.
the University High School culinary arts students, they have a booth, and they just blow all the rest of us celebrity chefs out of the water. Because what they do is so good, and everybody is, just so supportive and proud of what they're doing. Now,
Yeah, we've been very fortunate with that. And,
Yeah.
I think our kids took the big prizes.
they really have, like Top Chef,
Like
and
last
we
4
have-
years in a row, maybe.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, it's all good.
Yeah.
Of course, you and I attended Richfield High School,
Yeah,
which
oh, yeah.
later became Waco High School, which has now been raised and is being rebuilt. But they're going to have a culinary arts
Yes,
program.
they are. Yeah, so that's going to be great.
It's going to be that's going to be really top flight.
Yeah.
And what you've done with these students, though, that's what's so good. I mean, they're doing catering,
Yeah, a lot of that.
and you do a community cafe. That
Yeah,
and I've
about
come
one
to
day.
those before,
Yeah,
and-
thank you.
And it's just wonderful. It's delightful.
Yeah.
And the students serve that they cook it and serve it. I mean, they're
Right.
learning all the aspects of.
Yeah, they get a little
Of
front of
food
the house
service.
experience along with back of the house, and a lot of our the kids, they're actively working in the Waco food scene right now. I mean,
Right.
they've got restaurant jobs, and
Yeah, I understand restaurateurs and chefs will call over there and say, "Do you have a student?"
Oh, yeah.
It would be, they're always looking for good. And I understand them brag on one student that was accepted to the CIA. Isn't that true?
yeah,
I heard about that.
yeah. I don't know that she was actually able to go.
That she was able to go,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think she might have ended up at in another culinary
But still,
school, but.
that you're preparing high school students at that level
Yeah.
to then go to.
Yeah, it's twofold, and one aspect is our charge is to get them ready to go to work right now.
Yeah.
All right, and if they want to pursue higher education in that culinary field, we will certainly try to smooth that road for
Yeah.
them. With our contacts at
Yeah, and of course,
at
you know,
various-
TSTC is just right here in the community. And
Yeah.
they're a great program, obviously.
Yeah, it is. So we have a number of our kids that have ended up there
Oh, yeah.
and doing just fine.
I'm sure that's true. Well, both TSTC and University High have these community opportunities for folks just to come in and have a meal.
See what
And
the kids can do.
They are just well worth the money.
Yeah.
Well worth the money, and just the opportunity to support this aspect of education.
Yeah, of course. in the middle of the last several years, we had this big pandemic. You know,
Yeah.
we had to kind of suspend everything during that. But even then, we were doing stuff to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And people really kind of caught on to that.
Yeah. So,
like that, yeah.
but you know, last couple of years, just the general support and attendance for those cafe days
Yeah.
has just been, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, well, it's
Lots and lots of folks.
It's just great. It's great what you've done, and I know
Thank
you've got to have a really good feeling about leaving the program,
Yeah.
though, in great hands with Chef Rihanna is
you
still there.
Just took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Rhiannon Ruark. When I look back on all the working partnerships that I've had over the years in all of my culinary endeavors and catering and so forth, I've had some really top-notch folks that I've worked with.
I'm sure you have, yeah.
And Rhiannon has just been the best of the best of the best. I mean, she's awesome,
Yeah.
absolutely awesome, and she's really the heart and soul and driver of that whole program. And you know, I've been lucky to be on her team, and that's the truth.
Well,
And she's just the best.
yeah,
And,
I'm sure she'd
so
argue with you about that. But
well, we've had a
Yeah.
very good, you know,
Yeah.
complimentary working relationship over the last number of years,
Yeah.
and I will really miss her, and also David Dunham, who we were able to poach from TSTC as well. So
Yeah.
he's come on the last. He's been with us now about 3 years, and just doing super job with those kids.
Well, and the students you've impacted. I mean, over the years, I mean, you have to have known you probably changed some lives along the way.
Well, we hope so. You know, doesn't always feel like that when you're in the day-to-day grind. And
Yeah,
you
I think I
know, when-
remember some of your first days on the job. Of course, you know, knowing you from high school, I have to say. So Ozzy's teaching now.
yeah, that's
And
scary.
I think some of those kids were kind of testing you a little bit. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
might have tested a few teachers.
Yeah,
along
yeah.
the way.
You know, you pay for your raising when you raise one of your own. That kind of a deal came back to bite me. So my apologies to all of my former teachers, living and dead. Yeah, I'm sure I put you through some tough times, but
No, I need to be sure to be sure to get in touch with Mary Fidel and tell her about it. Because
I have.
I was oh good.
Oh,
'Cause,
I've hugged her neck, and
every
golly.
every day at work. I'm thankful for my great English teachers I
Yeah.
had in Waco ISD. For sure. Well, I like to end these visits with a little questionnaire. It's similar to the one that late great James Lipton would use on Inside the Actors Studio. Do you remember that show?
yes.
Okay. And this is just my take on it.
All
but
right, you
what
do
is-
his face though.
Oh yeah.
Do it. Give me that look.
I'll try.
I don't think I can.
Okay.
I can't
What-
do that face.
What's your favorite word?
My favorite word. Saute.
First time I've heard that one. And I've heard a lot of favorite words, but that makes perfect sense.
I
What's
love
your,
to saute.
Oh yeah.
Make
Well,
it jump. It's all on the wrist, Dan. All on the
yeah.
wrist.
Well, you got all the moves. I mean, you really know how to do that. If you saw me in the kitchen, you'd be going.
No, it's okay.
What's your least favorite word?
No.
Yeah, and I have heard that a bunch.
Yeah.
I've heard that. a
Don't tell
bunch.
me that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because, yeah. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Wow, man, where does that come from? Where does inspiration come from? Wow. That's such a great question, and I think maybe the right way to think about it is you just have to be open enough and observant enough to recognize it when it comes to visit, because it's a very ephemeral thing.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you where some inspiration for me came from, and it ended up winning us one of those HEB celebrity chef things.
Yeah?
So a popular place where we ate lunch when we were in high school and was a place called Nally's.
Oh, yes.
Nally's Handy Chef, I think
Oh,
it
yeah.
was.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd get a steak finger basket.
Oh,
and,
gosh, yeah.
some greasy French fries and a little tub of gravy and maybe a piece of Texas toast.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And
Ate
so
there many times.
Yeah. So we took that and turned it into a kind of an upscale thing. So we took ribeye steaks and pounded them out and cut them into little squares.
Oh, yeah.
And battered them and deep fried them, and then we hollowed out and roasted some potatoes, little like new potatoes, and made a nice thick cream gravy. And so the cream gravy went into the little cavity we had created in the potato, and then we put the little cube of ribeye in that, and then we made some little miniature French fries out of Yukon Gold potatoes and had those kind of stuck down in there, and then we squirted a chipotle ketchup on the top of it, and it made this.
I sampled that. You were just down the way from our.
Oh, you
Waco
remember it?
Oh, yeah, our Waco Symphony table. Yes, I was at that one. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you were just down the way. I had one of those. It was, that was an inspiration.
Well, that's where it came from.
That's,
And
yeah.
So I find that a lot of my inspiration, when it comes to stuff I want to cook or make for people, most of the time I'm chasing some memory from either childhood or something that my grandparents or one of my aunts or somebody made, or something my mom made, and I'm trying to recreate that and give it a upscale twist. So the late great Waco chef Jeffrey Michaels.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Jeffrey Michael gave me a great piece of advice one time, and he was always so kind to me. But we were kind of scratching our heads and bemoaning how unadventurous the palate of Central Texans at large kind of was. I think it's improving now, but it was kind of frustrating to us because we wanted to make all this fancy stuff that we knew how to make, but we couldn't get people to eat it.
They wanted those chicken fried steaks.
Yeah, and so what Jeffrey told me was give them the same as they've always had, better than they've ever had it.
No, that's good advice.
And he said it took him a few years at the Waterworks to figure that out. But I took that to heart, and it's worked for me.
What turns you off creatively, emotionally, or spiritually?
I guess letting all the bothersome little details of life in general that are stressors, build up and agitate you to the point where, so it's trying to figure that out and how to deal with that. And
What sound do you love the most?
Well, here lately I've been liking how John Prine sounds. And so I've been listening to some John Prine.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So, yeah, I like that.
Okay. What sound do you hate?
Have you ever, been sound asleep and awakened by maybe a chainsaw outside of your bedroom window?
That's
yeah. That one's always kind of a downer for me.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How do you come up with it? Okay, so you've done quite a few different, public relations,
Yeah,
and
advertising.
obviously a
and,
chef.
yeah.
What other
Radio.
job would you like to have tried?
Oh, that I haven't done yet?
Yeah. I think you said you wanted to be a pirate, so now you get to do that.
Pirate.
But you sort of answered this question earlier.
Yeah. Well, one area that I have kind of delved into, but I want to get back into, is writing.
Good.
So, we were talking about our English teachers, and we had some really great ones.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of cogitating on this idea for some time, and I have a lot of the pieces already, put together. But I want to put together a cookbook that's sort of a memoir.
Oh, wow.
And basically, I just told you just a second ago, a lot of my inspiration comes from chasing these childhood memories of food memories. And I feel like they're really deeply rooted in your cerebral cortex, or maybe the reptilian cortex.
There's no question. All
aromas
all of our
and,
senses. Yeah.
So I've kind of been working on putting those pieces together, and the mechanism that I'm using is a series of essays about food memories mostly.
Yeah.
And then attaching the recipes to those little short essays.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
I've-
You got a
I've-
date
yeah.
back here to talk about it when it's.
I've got
off the press.
one little story about green beans that involves giving myself a concussion over green beans, and so you have to wait and
We're
read
gonna
it.
have to get the
Yeah.
book to.
Yeah. But,
When it's okay. What job do you know you would not like at all?
I don't know that I would really enjoy selling insurance. I don't want to be disparaging, but that just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard a lot of different jobs. People, they're perfectly great jobs, but it's like that just would not be a good fit for me. So that's good. Well, one last question: what do you want to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
What's for dinner?
Ozzy, Michael Clinton Osborne.
Oh, thank
on
you.
Facebook. But I mean, it's just a delight to have you and to get to kind of
thank you.
catch up and reminisce about some of these great people and places that we mutually were able to enjoy.
yeah.
And all the best
Thank you.
on this new thing you're doing. And you have to come back and tell us, bring us pictures.
Well, I would love to do that. So yeah, I think my first little foray, I'll be in the Caribbean mostly for
Okay.
the next month and a half probably, and then go transatlantic, and I'll be in the Mediterranean for a pretty good cruise there, and then into the summer months it'll be like Norway, Sweden,
Oh, yeah.
Ireland, England, some of the
Oh,
North
my
Atlantic,
goodness.
and then back into the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Or no, back into the Mediterranean. So that's the way this whole first year. And one of the nice things about this, as cruise lines go, some of these cruise ships carry like 5,000-6,000 people.
Oh, I know, it's
It's
incredible.
like wow.
Yeah.
And,
It's like a city.
Yeah, in the ships in the Oceania and Regent line are smaller ships. So I think our biggest one carries maybe 1,200 guests. Consequently, they can get into a lot smaller, more unique places, ports. So I think it's probably 600 different ports of call around the world, and I'll get a chance to get into a whole lot of them. So
Wow.
that's going to be fun.
It's just, I am so excited for you
Thank you.
to be able to do this. This
Yeah,
is
it's
just
gonna be-
awesome.
You'll have to
And-
come go with us.
Well, let me know what you're. I've been on 2 cruises my whole life, but I would like to go on another one. That's for sure, and that would be loads of fun. Get a bunch of our classmates together and.
Yeah, I think the schedule that I've got right now that goes into 2025,
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
I'll be floating by Antarctica for one of those
Well,
trips.
that's just.
See it before it's gone, folks. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
so
Ann.
much, Ozzy, for being with us, and thank you for being with us. Join me
A
again
pleasure.
next time for Central Texas Life. Bye-bye.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.